You're good.
We're good?
Just push the red button down. Yep.
Red buttons out.
Perfect.
Excellent. We're good. 6 o'clock, let's call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Adam,
Present?
Mr. Mason,
Present.
Mrs. Baxter, Mrs. Walton,
Present.
Mr. Walters.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, before we continue with the meeting, we're going to do the election of officers. For chair nomination,
I move to nominate Mr. Adams.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. For the chair, for vice chairs, I'll nominate Mr. Walters.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do I read that part or you?
Yeah, for the nomination for secretary,
I nominate Mr. Mason.
I'll second that.
Ms. Walton seconds that. Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Good. Next part of the meeting is approval of last minutes, December 17, 2024. It's been a while, looks like.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 17th, 2024.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed? We're good. So there are no all business on the agenda, so that's good. Let's just open up with the new business. First order of business is BCA 2026-1, consideration of variance application for Cronin 4 regarding the architectural requirements for base body and cab. The request will be presented by the staff. Following this presentation, anyone wishing to speak in favor of the proposal will be given the opportunity to speak. After all the proponents have spoken, the opponents will give the opportunity to present their case as well. Speakers are now asked to repeat the same ideas that have been previously presented, but indicated that they agree with the previous speakers. All persons speaking are subject to cross-examination from the board. And of course, they also must be sworn in. The Board of Zoning Appeals has the opportunity to question any speaker after they completed the presentation, but once the public hearing is closed, then individuals have no right to comment during discussion unless addressed by the board. For all those wishing to speak during this public hearing, please stand up and raise your right hands to be sworn in. Just stand up, please. Yes, thank you. Do you affirm that testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth? Okay, great. Excellent. Thank you. Once you come to the podium, just please state your name and address for the record. Mr. Cole?
Hello, everybody. My name is Jameson Cole, 233 South Main Street, Monroe, Ohio, 45050. I am here presenting case number 2026-1. First, for this case, I want to give you the exhibits. In this exhibit, it has the staff report, the mailers, proof of publication. It also has the certified mail receipts. These are the 3 certified mail receipts that all cases tonight received, as they all are for the same applicant. Background for the site Eric Cohen, on behalf of Cronin Ford, has applied for the variance regarding the architectural requirements for base body and cap for the proposed car dealership. The property is owned by Cronin Ford Acquisition LLC, and it is currently 9.2 acres, zone GC General Commercial. The applicant wishes to construct the dealership based on Ford's current prototype architectural style. Here is the aerial of the site. It is located to the west of Heritage Green Plaza, where Kroger's is. La Rosa's is kind of on the end cap with the pet hospital as well. Here is the zoning map showing it in general commercial PUD. Here is a view from Ring Road looking east towards the site. Here is the view from State Route 63 looking south towards the site. And here's a view from the access road from 63. I think it might be the end of McCready in the intersection of Ring Road as well. So the variance request is to allow the building to be built as shown for compliance with Ford's prototype dealership model. The following code section here is what they're trying to vary from, talking about the building mass and having it clearly distinguishable throughout changes in color, material patterns, profile textures, and so on. Here is the elevations provided to staff of the prototype dealership from kind of all angles. The glass elevation is the front facing Ring Road and State Route 63. Here is the proposed site plan for this project. It was originally including the north side of Ring Road, but they've consolidated it to just the south portion of the property. And they have it marked which zone will be for each inventory, customer parking, employee parking, and so on. So the variance purpose, a variance from the requirements of the code may be granted by the BZA when the BZA determines that such a variance will not be contrary to public interest, and that due to special conditions, practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship exists that presents strict application of this code. Here are the powers and duties requests to vary from the code. So jumping to our review criteria, the first kind of states whether there's any special conditions, circumstances that exist particular to the land structure. In this case, this section will be the kind of the same for all the cases tonight. The property is similar to other general commercial properties. It fronts 63, is surrounded by general commercial properties. The site has high power utility tower on it, which creates some challenges, but not dissimilar to other commercial properties that have dealt with the same challenges, similar to like a Honda over on 75. The site also, as stated by the applicant, has some difficulty predominantly with the site conditions, topography, the transmission tower, underground utilities. So those are other conditions that they have proposed. Whether there is any reasonable or beneficial use of the property without a variance, the property may yield a reasonable return and beneficial use without a variance requested. Based on staff, the applicant has stated if the owner cannot comply with Ford's franchise agreement, then the dealership won't be able to be built on this site. Whether the variance is substantial or and is minimum necessary to make possible. The variance requested is substantial because it sets a precedent for all future commercial franchise development within the city. The request is not minimum necessarily to make use of the land and structures. The applicant has stated again that the base body cap requirement does not allow the building to be built per Ford's prototype building as designed and prevents the owner from complying with the franchise agreements. Whether the essential character of the neighborhood will be impacted. The essential character of the development was already poised to be altered with the approval of the PUD amendments. Back in 2023, the site went through the process. These amendments excluded the property from having to follow the same materials and color schemes that are, and they allowed the prohibited use of automotive sales and outdoor bulk storage, which in Heritage Green's PUD portion would not allow automotive sales, bulk storage. It would have to meet the brick and color scheme that is with the rest of the center. In 23, they went forward and amended it for this particular site to allow different color schemes, materials, and outdoor bulk storage and automotive sales. Whether the variance would adversely affect governmental services, it would not. Whether there's any special conditions or circumstances that exist as a result of the actions of the owner. The request of the variance is due to the owner's requirement from Ford as a result to comply with the franchise agreement, which in this case requires the building to be built as shown in those previous elevations. The applicant has stated that the PUD dated March 1st, the owner needs to maintain compliance with the franchise regulations with respect to Ford branding. So they believe that with that PUD that they should be able to follow the franchise requirements. Whether the predicament can feasibly be removed in any other methods, staff cannot determine whether this predicament can feasibly be resolved, although alternative designs, because it involves a third party, staff will state in other cases throughout the city, feasible design alternatives were achieved to meet the city's and franchise requirements. Whether the spirit and intent of the code can be observed and granted justice by this. The variance requested may not meet the spirit and intent behind the code. The applicant has stated that the variance would comply with the approved PUD dated March 1st, 2024. Let's see, whether granting the variance would serve as any special privilege to them. Granting this variance may provide the applicant with the privilege over the development in commercial areas where this requirement applies. The applicant has stated they do not believe that granting this will give them special privilege, as this building would comply with the site-specific PUD amendment dated, again, March 1st, 2024. The staff, Public Works, Fire, Police have no comment at this time. They'll have comments during the site plan process. We have received no public comment at this time. And these are just reminders. The applicant shall require to supply evidence that demonstrates literal enforcement of the code will result in practical difficulties. Every decision is accompanied by a written finding of fact based on testimony evidence, specify the reason for granting or denying the application. And then staff's review is based on code interpretations, potential for precedents that could affect the enforcement of the city standards and regulations. The approval denial modification is not required to be based on all the criteria being met. No single factor listed above may control, and not all factors may be applicable in each case. And so staff, again, for variances, we don't make recommendations. So here are the criteria. And please let me know if you have any questions.
I do have a question for you, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
The amendments that were done
Yes.
to the PUD, were they specifically for this applicant or just general use?
Just for this applicant.
Just for this applicant. That was
Just
gonna be my
for
question.
this applicant and just for this parcel.
Okay.
So what they're proposing meets the PUD requirements, but not the code.
So it does not, in the PUD, it does not directly specify architectural elements
Right.
as being waived. It's, as it read in the presentation and in the staff report, it only is the materials, color, use as automotive sales, and then outdoor bulk storage.
Yeah.
The materials would be permitted now because the code update allowed that type of metal siding to be permitted. And the color needed to be altered from what the PUD allowed for the
Yes,
strip
allowed.
center existing. So in those cases, it is permitting the building to be different from the Kroger strip center, the Heritage Green Plaza. But it does not reference the architectural elements of the code.
For that district, for the general commercial
Yeah.
district.
Yep.
Are there any other general commercial districts in the city besides this area, or there's more?
No, there's plenty of different general commercial districts
Okay,
throughout the
I
city.
didn't see the whole zoning map.
So, yeah, it's between Lawton and really 75. There's general commercial in there. There is some general commercial then on the south side as well, up along going towards Domino's. If you're heading west, on the north side of 63, there's some
Okay.
general commercial, where Clubhouse
Yes.
is along Main Street is also general commercial. So there are multiple general commercial districts. This one is specific to this because it's encompassed into a PUD as well. Not necessarily, no. Off the top of my head, I don't know exactly where another PUD may be. It might be the police station has a general commercial PUD overlay on it, where that strip center and the
That's the only
business
I
is
could
going in there.
remember
But generally, we don't have overlays over the commercial.
Do you have any insight as to why the architectural elements were removed or not included into that PUD? Was it oversight or was there a specific reason?
I do believe that it was just oversight on it. I think the intent could have been to include that, but it is hard to, for a PUD amendment, to just say any prototype given will suffice.
Yeah.
I don't believe that the city would have allowed that. It has changed, although it might have changed slightly. The prototype shown at the PUD amendment hearing is different from these elevations that you're shown. So it's hard for staff to then enforce anything, as it would be a blanket kind of statement. So I do think that it was omitted, like accidentally forgotten. It might have been the intent of the applicants to have that as part of it, but I don't believe that staff would have been in favor of that.
In the time in between the PUD hearing and purchase of the land?
You would have to ask the applicant on when the
When they
land,
purchase
it might have been a condition of that approval on the final purchase of the property would be my guess. No problem.
All right, thank you. Presentation by the representative of Cronin, please. For the record, state your name and address.
My name is Eric Korn. I represent Cronin Automotive. We're based in Harrison, Ohio, and soon to be based up in Middletown. We had 2 points in reference to just the base body cap. We can only build what Ford allows us. Our building must be in compliance to receive the franchise agreement. The second part, Mrs. Baxter pointed out, is we believed with our intent in changing the PUD amendments, we even wrote in, you could look back in the minutes in 23 and 24, we stated in there, can build a Ford prototype building. And our lawyer, when he drafted the new PUD, removed the automotive part as a conditional use and removed the other items we forgot to reinsert must be a prototype building to be constructed. So it was our intent originally to build this, and we had to get approval first. We went through all of the zoning before we did purchase the property. It was contingent on us purchasing. And the difference between the 1.0 and 2.0, Ford updated their color scheme, so now we're white and blue with glass versus brushed aluminum.
Okay.
I have a question. The prototype that was presented at the PUD hearing, did that meet the architectural guidelines? I'm assuming no. Okay.
So all the Ford buildings in the tri-state area are this brushed stainless steel, but top to bottom brushed stainless steel with glass. Now they've switched to white with glass.
Okay.
How long that prototype has been?
20 years.
20 years.
They usually go about 20 years because it costs a fortune to build the buildings. They usually let us go about 20 years.
Years.
So the initial prototype that was shown during the PUD amendment process had the blue and white?
No, it was a brushed stainless steel. So this picture, can you go back to the picture? The white was brushed stainless steel in the previous prototype. So if you're familiar with any of the Ford buildings in the area, that's what they look like. This is the new Signature 2.0 program. But as far as the building, it was stainless, brushed aluminum from the very bottom to the very top.
And now it's a white,
ACM panel, correct.
what are they saying?
AC. How do you tell it? Metal panel. Metal panel.
So any new dealership has to look like this?
Correct. There's 2 in the United States so far, one in Delaware and one north of Detroit. If you look at all the Ford stores in Cincinnati, if you looked on
They all have
Google
the
Earth,
white one.
they all look identical.
Yeah.
Just like the Honda store in Monroe, and if you look at the Honda store in Dayton or down in Cincinnati, they all look the same. It's just, it's their branding element. And again, to reference, our intention was, in good faith, to put prototype, which is what we did put on the PUD. But when, as Jameson pointed out, we removed a piece, we did not reinsert. So it reverted back to a code versus the PUD.
Got it.
Is the material change in the back, the CMU, is that just because it's a side and a rear facade that Ford didn't have any requirements on that?
Ford does have requirements on the side. The split face is what they use on the backside. It's more economical. The ACM panels are very expensive on the front, and that's their storefront, so they want the higher-end material on the front along with the glass. We have a building that's 8 miles down the road here in Lebanon. Our Chrysler Dodge Jeep storage is actually
Yeah,
from this
not
point
too-
at 7 miles. And it has the same type of metal ACM panels, and on the sides of the building, it is split face with metal going up to the roof. Ford did a good job on this building, and they do them in all their buildings. The front of it hides the back of the building because they have these
Yes.
wing walls that stick out, that are the white ACM panels. If you look at, as they call it, the Glass House World Headquarters up in Detroit, this is reminiscent of that exact building that was probably built in the 60s, and this is what they're going after.
And there's no way to change out any of like the bottom or the top rows to be a different color? Because that would meet the requirement, right, if it was a different color? You're saying
Ford won't allow it.
it has to be all white with blue lettering, period.
They even picked the color of blue for us.
Oh, that's nice of them. Okay.
Ford has 2 blues, a dark blue and a light blue.
Cool. Any more questions?
Good.
Casey? Yes. All right. Good. Any other final comments at all?
Thank you very
None at all?
much.
Good. Thank you. Request a motion to accept the documents submitted for the records?
I'll make a motion that we accept the documents for the record.
Right. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay. Motion carried. All right, request a motion to close the public hearing for this case.
I'll make a motion, to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, what are you guys doing?
A new phone, and I can't find where I put all the notes.
Oh, you got notes?
But yeah, when I went over the packet, and I
Oh,
can't,
yeah.
I don't know how to work this.
It sounds to me that the PUD amendments included this building, just different color, just a different
Yeah.
color scheme.
That's what it appears to be.
So, I mean, and while it doesn't meet necessarily the base body cap, I think it does have architectural features. You know, it's not just a plain brick building, or, you know, it's not flat.
The, yeah, Josh, anything else?
I would second that. I think it's definitely done by a professional. It's not just this wall building. I think the 3 sides of it do meet that standard base body cap. That was visible from the shopping center. And then coming, I guess, east on 63.
Yeah, you won't be able, yeah. You probably won't see it until you go, once you go west, then you'll be able to see it, so. Same token, what I seen, noticed before, that if you look at this design of building, it also meets a different district, zoning district of the city, the HI,
Okay.
which has about the same type of design, but doesn't have the body cap and footed body and cap as the other ones. But looks like that was the intention when they did the PUD as well, so. Any other comments? Guess we're good? All right. If there are no comments, then we just go ahead and move to recommend approval, I believe. Regarding case BCA 2026-1, consideration of the variance application for Cronin Ford regarding the architectural requirements for base body and cab.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Second one, Mr. Walters. And this is based on the prior PUD approval? Roll call, please.
Can you tell me who seconded that first? Thank you. Yes, Mr. Walters?
Yes.
Mrs. Baxter? Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Mrs. Walton?
Yes.
Mr. Adam?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good, good. All right, I guess we move on to case number 2. We open the public hearing for case number BCA 2026-2, consideration of a variance application for Cronin Ford regarding parking island landscaping. Do we need to repeat? I guess we do. No problem.
Yes, you do.
I think that you can just ask everybody who will then speak
Yes,
to stand,
And
raise your right
just
hand
move
again
on to
as
that
we
one.
open up
Got it.
the
since it's already
public
here.
hearing.
All right, those who wish to speak for this case, please stand up and raise your hands. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you, and once you come to the podium, please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
I knew there was a reason why I put this slide in the slideshow, is because I always forget the exhibits. So here we have all the relevant code sections and everything with the, for this case number, and I'll give it to you guys. And again, that one will not have the mailer receipts as they're included in the first case.
On the first
And
case.
we just put all 4 of these cases into the same envelope and sent them to the same addresses as it was repeated. So background for this case is Eric with Cronin Ford, again, has applied for the variance regarding development landscaping pertaining to canopy trees within parking islands. The applicant wishes to waive the requirement of canopy trees in the parking islands and replace them with Little Girl Annie magnolias to limit the impacts of the leaves, debris, and damaging of their inventory. Here again is the site, the zoning of the site, looking east, looking south, and then looking west. Again, the request is to alter the canopy tree requirement. Currently, we require 1 canopy tree and 3 shrubs per island. If it's a double row island, it has double the landscaping. And they wish to waive that to limit the impact of the leaves and other debris damaging the inventory and replace them with some ornamental trees. Here are the code sections for it, which talks about kind of the parking islands. We have 4 different kind of sections for them. as there are different kinds of parking islands, which is very exciting. Here's the elevation of the building again.
There we go.
The site plan with the layouts again, I wanted to point out kind of where the inventory is going to go. So the light blue on the left side, which is a triple row, parking is new inventory. So that's on the west side of the property. On the northeast side of the property, they have used car inventory, shaded in purple, and they have a little bit of that also in the rear. The triple row in the southeast of the site. And then they have some employee parking, some customer parking, some service parking throughout, but I just wanted to point out kind of where that inventory parking will be. Here is the landscape plan. It is difficult to see.
We got copies.
So I do apologize on that
You're
it could
good.
not get better quality.
Do you mind going back?
Yeah,
On those islands, when you say
Yes.
islands, you're talking about the islands. Now, the other ones on top from the inventory,
so.
those are called the end cap islands?
So if you look at any of the, especially on the perimeter of like a parking row of parking stalls, you will have it where it terminates either right before it gets to Ring Road, or if you go all the way to the south, and it will terminate into an end cap island. That is an end capped. Also, another end cap, or that's more of a corner. An end cap is also in the rear of the site. They have multiple 2-row parkings, which have double end caps, and then a triple row that has just a larger end cap to it. So they have a combination of corner islands, end cap islands. I do believe that they have a middle island because it stretches beyond 15 parking spaces, which our code then requires an island in between that. So the site has a variety of different parking islands.
Right. Thank you.
Going into the criteria, any special conditions, circumstances, again, the site does have the power lines over top of it. It's on 63, which in some cases creates some difficulties for sites. It is surrounded by general commercial and is not too dissimilar, like I said in the previous case. The applicant again has stated the topography, power lines, and other underground utilities have created some difficulty for the site. If there's any kind of beneficial use for the site, the property may yield a reasonable return and beneficial use without the requested variance. The applicant has stated that they cannot yield a reasonable return if the display vehicles and inventory is reduced. Also, if the required trees can drop sap, leaves, fruit onto parked vehicles, potentially damaging the paint, finishing, requiring more frequent washing to the inventory, increasing the cost of doing business. Let's see. And then, is the variance substantial, minimum necessary? The variance is significant, but because it's precedent is changing canopy trees for smaller trees and larger shrubs, eliminating all parking island trees and replacing them with alternative ornamental trees exceeds what is necessary to allow reasonable use of the land. The applicant asserts that the purpose of the site design is to maximize visibility of new vehicles for sale The requirement of landscaping are used that would obstruct sight lines to these vehicles and increase risk of damage from falling debris with contact of the trees. Applicant has indicated willingness to collaborate with staff on the landscaping plan that enhances vehicle visibility while preserving the intent of the code. Again, the applicant has proposed replacing the canopy trees with magnolia, a hybrid of an ornamental tree and a shrub. Staff would recommend something maybe along the lines of like a Japanese lilac, or for its tolerance, an urban stress from heat, pavement, compacted soils. So some kind of work with staff and do this, their willingness.
Okay.
Essential character would be substantially altered, as all other development sites across the city must comply with these requirements. Adjoining properties would not suffer any detriment to this variance, as parking islands along their property lines are not expected to, I think that reads incorrectly. I believe that it's expected to meet the landscaping requirement. I was just reading it incorrectly. The essential character will be altered as part of this variance, but as indicated by the applicant's collaboration with the staff on the landscaping plan can mitigate the significance of the change by replacing the canopy trees with smaller trees that will not negatively impact the business. No government services will be impacted from this variance. Special conditions, the request variance is not necessarily due to the owner's actions, but rather the use itself. The applicant has stated that the property cannot yield a reasonable return if the display inventory is reduced. Also required trees drop saplings, leaves, and other fruit onto parked vehicles, potentially damaging the paint and finishing, requiring more cost to doing business. Whether this can feasibly be removed without a variance, the predicament can be addressed by choosing the right species of canopy tree. If the applicant chooses the correct canopy tree that provides strong branches that won't break over cars. Now, messy fruit, sap, leaves, large pods, and a high canopy that can clear the vehicles, tolerate the heat, salt, pavement, and other reflections. The applicant has stated that there are no alternative methods to resolve the predicament. Staff would note that the biggest constraint to large canopy trees is in fact the Duke transmission lines overhead. They are what will limit the height of the canopy trees. The applicant has noted their willingness to work with staff on the landscaping plan, and staff does believe that an equitable solution could be found. We also would recommend a letter from Duke letting us know of what height would be acceptable underneath those power lines. They kind of have the control under that. Whether the spirit and intent of the code can be recognized, the request as requested meets the spirit and intent because they are not seeking to remove the plantings in its entirety, but instead use alternative plantings to limit additional challenges they could face with certain canopy trees. Staff believes that the canopy trees not directly within the Duke easement should remain the required canopy trees, and those within the easement should be altered to minimum extent possible to meet regulations set forth by Duke while preserving the intent of the code. Whether this will grant any special privilege to the applicant, granting this variance may provide the applicant with privilege by altering the canopy tree requirement, whereas other developments in the city must adhere to it. There are no comments from any other department, no public comment. And again, this, the BZA approval denial modification is not required to be based on all the criteria to be met, and no single factor listed above may control, and not all factors may be applicable in each case. And here are the criteria. If you guys would like, I can pull up the landscape plan.
There we go.
So the shrub requirements aren't met, the three.
Yes, so the shrub requirement is met, and they are wanting to just alter the canopy trees.
Do we know how many trees that we're talking about?
It would be every island, so
Okay.
I think I did the math earlier, it would be like at least 30
30 trees?
trees, because it's in the double end caps, there would
Yeah.
be 2 trees being impacted. And so it would impact the whole site.
What's the difference between the little girl and magnolia and the Japanese tree lilac? on
So
those?
I think that the difference, they both don't drop anything. They don't have, they're very durable, kind of ornamental small trees. It just depends on, there are a lot of different magnolias, so
Yeah,
there are a lot of different kinds of Japanese lilac as well.
Yes.
I think that it comes down to the right style of tree that is actually a tree and not a shrub,
Not a
I think
shrub,
is the
a bush.
biggest thing, to ensure that if we are varying, that it's still a tree and not just another shrub going into the island to replace it. In my research, I think that they both are durable trees, but from what I looked into, the Japanese just came across as, from different sources, as a more durable to heat from the pavement, also compacted soils of people walking on the root system. So that's why I mentioned it. It does not have to be that
doesn't
exact.
have to be exactly that one.
Exact, but it's just a mention of something that's more durable, especially around cars, around pavement, where there is a lot of heat being transferred to the plants. I think that that's another thing that we just want to ensure that the durability of everything being planted is the best.
And these two are not the only ones, there are other 3 shrubs that also could be
Impacted.
impacted
Yes.
to this.
I think that the shrubs, though, are easier. There's a list of shrubs
Yeah.
that can be used. So working with staff when it comes to the site plan, we'll be able to work with the applicant on finding a similar shrub to sustain. It would be one thing if they were on the perimeter where they're not gonna have this impact all the time, but these landscape islands with cars passing by, constantly moving, I think that it's a concern.
Did the PUD address landscaping at all?
No.
Any other questions from Mr. Cole? None? Thank you. Proponents, please.
Again, I'm Eric with Cronin. The goal of the trees is just the damage on the cars. We will store cars up to 1 year, sometimes longer. Sometimes they're customer vehicles that will be parked on the side. When there's recalls, they're in a loaner vehicle, but their car may be parked with us for over a year. Along with the storage of our new vehicles, we've all had cars and they can get damaged by trees. In Lebanon, referencing the Chrysler Building down the street, we worked with the city of Lebanon to do a perimeter of the canopy trees, along with extra trees on the back. And as you can see on the right-hand side, where Kroger is, we're covering,
Yeah.
which is now their dumpster area and shipping area, will now have trees versus the shrubs, just the shrubs they have. In Lebanon, we did the islands with the shrubs, along with dwarf lilac trees. So they grew up about 5 feet tall, and they have a bush at the top, and they don't drop anything on the cars, and we've had very good luck with them because we don't have sprinkler systems at that location either. So we will continue to work with staff and use their recommendations. If you reference the other automotive store in your jurisdiction, they don't have any trees except for the perimeter of the lot.
Is this landscaping plan the modified or the proposed, or what are we looking at here?
Proposed.
Propose.
So this currently right now does not meet the city code.
Correct. I would guess if the bigger circles with the helicopters were in the
Yeah.
islands, those would be the canopy trees. And we also have a lot of islands for just, for the requirement every 15 parking spaces. A lot of the other buildings who have the large storage areas do away with the islands. We have the islands, and we like the look of the shrubs with them. All we're trying to do is avoid damage to the cars in the future. We don't want to change, and we want to go with the spirit of the green space of encouraging, to return the land as best we can, but just limit the damage.
So are you opposed to meeting the code in the areas that are for just like regular customer parking, not the long-term, but?
Anything that's gonna have trees that's gonna drop on the cars, that's why we placed them
Okay.
around the perimeter.
Let me go back to the landscape, if you don't mind. Good.
And as far as, and we just had a
So-
couple windstorms, but even the one in Lebanon's probably the only one since it's a newer lot, but our older lots, we trim the trees constantly because
Yes, of course.
a flying tree branch can cause a lot of damage to a car. And as they age, they will lose branches.
So the big trees around the perimeter, those are gonna stay, or those are the ones that we're talking about?
Say that one more time?
The big trees that we see on the perimeter of the lot?
Those do meet the code. Those are similar trees that should be on the islands.
On the islands, okay.
Um,
So the ones on the islands, the ones that are at the end of the island, that's what represents the shrubs, correct?
Well, they're ornamental trees
Ornamental
is
trees,
what
yeah.
they're
Got it.
proposing.
Okay. Wish I had a mouse.
Thank you.
I have one question. I'm just trying to figure out where this conversation's going.
They're just different sizes.
Staff recommended doing smaller trees around the utility lines and then larger canopy trees in other.
To meet Duke's code. As far as Duke's concerned, they want nothing underneath there. They own the rights to 50 feet on either side of that power tower. We can't do anything but a parking lot.
100-foot easement,
And
typically.
we have to, those are customers or employee parking. We can't store cars because they want that area accessible all the time. It really limits the property's use. So we are going to plan as best we can, and we do have a small retaining wall between the building and the power tower. There is a retaining wall that will go in there. But you can see our landscaping and our parking lot is controlled a lot by the tower.
What about the left-hand side islands? Is there some kind of compromise that can be made for those to be sturdy
The left
ornamental
side,
trees?
we will put the bigger trees on the outside, and
Outside.
they're towards the front, and then the back. But anywhere we're gonna have customers' cars, and that would be the service parking, where they'll have the vehicles parked. If it's waiting on parts for a week or a month, that's where they would park. It's not so much that the tree drops it, it leaves it there and then the sun bakes it on and it eats right through the clear coat,
Anything the tree drops?
pretty much. Anything with sap on it, trees are sappy. Anything that has sap in it, once it hits the paint and it bakes on, it eats right through the paint.
Yeah, I'm not an arborist, so like, I'm not too familiar with tree options. I just feel like there should be some kind of tree compromise that doesn't like break onto the cars and cause damage. But if you're saying anything with leaves is gonna cause damage to the cars, is that what you're saying?
Leaves are fine, it's the fruit that they drop. And any type, the seeds, so the trees are gonna have seeds sooner or later throughout the course of the year, they will drop on the car. So over in Lebanon, and you should be able to pull it up on Google Earth, the Lebanon store 7 miles down, you can see all of our islands have trees and shrubbery in there. They're just very low trees that are only about 5 feet high. They're dwarf lilacs with, they look like pom-poms. I'm not sure what they are exactly. But we want to work with staff and stick with the spirit of the code. We just want to limit the damage by placing the trees in the areas that would avoid damaging the cars. You walk into a department store, their storefront where the t-shirts or soap or whatever is their display. Our lot is our display for the customers.
Well, you kind of lost me on that one, because like, if you want to talk about making sure that people can see the visibility of the cars, why aren't you parking cars on the front half of the lot? What are you doing with the front half of the lot?
Right now, it's the pure cost of the front lot.
To develop it?
And we're not sure that we actually need all that space, so we're going to reserve the ability to do something different with that in the future. And 63 also, it's not a ton of visibility on 63 because the way the grading is on that lot, it sticks up a good 6 feet off of 63. So right now, we're planning on just developing the back half of the lot.
So from that frontage road to 63,
Nothing's gonna be there.
So the trees that you're planting along Kroger's delivery area, is that in excess of what's required, or is that the minimum? Maybe this is for Mr. Cole.
It would be the minimum. It would meet the code standard.
That's Lebanon.
Is there any way to plant additional trees off the back to,
I'd have to reference the landscape architect on that. I don't know the answer to that question.
and if you can't do anything
Underneath it.
100 feet of the power lines, are these just shrubs or what are we looking at underneath this?
Those are shrubs. I could let,
Those are small ones, I believe.
I'm gonna ask Ben to come up with our,
All right. Yeah. Just please state your name and your address.
My name is Ben Poole, address 8111 Cheviot Road, Cincinnati, Ohio,
All right.
45247. First, I'd like to clarify with Jameson, I do believe the canopy trees in the bottom left and then the right side are in addition to the minimum perimeter planting requirements.
Okay.
We originally had you can see the trees in between the shrubs, and then there's almost like a second row, and we added those in lieu of some of the canopy parking island trees. And then the requirements in the Duke easement, those are shrubs and some smaller ornamental trees. I've talked to Duke, and they do not require any vegetation that would be over 15 feet high.
15
within
feet
that
high,
easement,
okay.
yeah.
and they're also entitled to come in at any day and just whack them down to the ground.
Yeah, if they need to, they will too.
added two or three canopy trees that were, we had the minimum canopy trees for the perimeter plantings. And so we added some back there and as much as we could on the right side where space allowed.
Okay. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. I forgot the last time if there were any opponents, but appears to be that there are none, so we'll skip those for now. Any final comments from the staff?
No.
Oh, any, no final comments? Okay, great, thank you. Good. Request a motion to accept the document submitted for the record stating that the, also noting that the mail receipts were not involved because we sent them one mail, sent them all.
I'll make a motion to accept the documents for the record.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, motion carried. All right, request a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Second, somebody?
Second.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Good. Any comments on this one? Any thoughts?
So we're all so these are all smaller.
Yes, less than 15 feet, and the other ones are canopy. So all these are set up to be higher. The ones are around it.
Yes, those
Okay,
are the ones
those are the
around
ones that
higher.
Yeah.
Anything
They don't have 30 of them, but where can you put 30 trees anywhere? Too much to maintain. Looks like most of the islands are set up within the easement as well.
Yeah, I'm okay with like decreasing the canopy trees in the easement area. It's just like the other islands
on the
that
other islands.
I feel like there could be some kind of tree species found,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with the,
canopy tree species.
yeah, work with the city, work with the staff to make sure to find the right proper
I would agree with that, that
tree shrub.
as long as they work with staff to compromise, I think that works.
And I guess like it could be a backup, like a plan B, if there's no viable like species of trees that they can find that'll meet these requirements with these site conditions of the heat and the soil area, that maybe at that point, if there's no viable product, then an ornamental tree could be used. Just posing that as a question.
Okay.
Because I don't want to put staff in a position to like not be able to make a decision based on our motion.
And they don't have a sprinkler system, right?
No, that would be too much. Is there any sprinkler system, irrigation systems on these islands? Thank you. Yeah. Any other comments at all? None? Good. So we are good with the approval, with the conditions that you mentioned, Danielle?
Yeah.
All right.
You guys are okay with
You mind repeating those for me?
that?
Unless Michelle grabs it over there, she already grabbed what she said.
Okay, so we're talking about reducing the canopy trees and I'm just repeating it back to you guys.
That's fine.
In the Duke easement area, and any canopy trees outside of the Duke easement need to be a canopy tree that doesn't break or is small enough to fit the site conditions, and if those cannot be found, then the Japanese lilac,
Right, they will work with the staff.
working with staff, okay.
Yes. To find the proper cultivar, I guess, for the tree.
Just make sure that whoever makes that motion reads it how you want that to be for me, so that I get it correct in the minutes, please.
Anything else? You don't mind making that motion again?
Let me figure out a way to say it eloquently.
Perfect.
Sure. Michelle will fix it.
Okay. Okay, so I move that we make a recommendation to approve case number BZA 2026-2, consideration of a variance application from Cronin Ford regarding parking island landscaping, with the conditions that the canopy trees proposed within the Duke easement can be removed. However, canopy trees located outside of this easement need to be installed, but the trees cannot bear fruit or drop branches to damage the vehicles. If this specific tree cannot be found to meet the site conditions as are existing or proposed with the parking islands, then the applicant will need to work with staff to find a reasonable compromise? Is that,
Compromise, yes.
okay.
Or tree cultivar, tree.
Can I just make a clarification?
Yes.
Just asking. So within the easement, you do not want any kind of canopy tree or tree within there, correct? Just so that I understand that they don't have to
For the
replace it
islands.
with an ornament. It
For the
just,
islands.
no trees, it can be shrubs, correct?
Oh,
For the islands.
in the Duke easement?
Yes.
In the Duke easement, we want ornamental trees, not canopy trees?
Yeah, I just,
Correct.
removing the canopy tree requirement in that section does not mean that they have to replace it with anything. I just want a clarification so that it can be enforced properly on the intent of that,
So
if that makes sense.
just to rephrase, so whatever's in that, by the tower could remain as is, as long as it meets, yeah, within the easement, but around the tower, there's a tower right there where it shows all that retaining wall, and there is trees, and there's trees that cannot be higher than 15 feet, correct?
Yeah, so
So-
similar, if you're wanting to remove the canopy tree requirement within the easement and have them as planted,
Replace it with ornamental.
yes, I would just need that. Or if you want to remove the requirement fully from that easement, then just state it as,
I thank you for that clarification. I am not removing the requirement for trees in that easement, just canopy trees.
Canopy trees.
Can you reread that the way that you want? I'm so sorry.
No,
It's,
you're good, here. I could-
it's really not what I want you to have to do, but I appreciate it.
Just mention for the islands, I believe.
What was that?
just for the islands.
So don't mention the Duke easement.
Right, just
At all. Okay.
there's a Duke easement that crosses the islands, so the islands will have within the islands within the Duke easement. Because the other ones will meet whatever Duke requirements needs. Easy enough?
Oh. So am I just making the correction regarding the trees in the Duke easement?
I would just want you to read that with the following condition and however that should be worded for that, because we need it to be specific so that everything is met on their side and our side. Thank you.
You're good.
Okay.
All right.
With the following condition, to plant the trees within the, plant landscaping within the Duke easement as proposed. And for the parking islands outside of the Duke easement, the canopy trees cannot bear fruit or drop branches to damage the vehicles, and they must meet the site-specific conditions in order to be viable. If this type of tree cannot be found, then the applicant will work with staff to meet a good alternative.
Good alternative, yes.
Splendid. That was a doozy.
No, that was good. You're good.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Walton,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Adam,
Yes.
Mrs. Baxter,
Yes.
and Mr. Walters.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We open the public hearing for case number 3, which will be BCA 2026, number 3, consideration of variance application regarding the parking space width. Those who wish to speak for this hearing, please stand up and raise your right hand and repeat after me. Or do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
I'm going to present the exhibits similar to the last one. In the first one, they were all sent to the same 3 addresses.
Thank you.
This case, on behalf of Cronin Ford, has been, is regarding the size of the parking spaces. The applicant wishes to permit all parking spaces to be 9 by 18, except parking designated for customer employee parking. Side again. The zoning, looking east, looking south, and looking west. So again, the variance request is to allow all parking spaces to be resized to 9 by 18, except for designated parking for customers and employees. Here are relevant code sections for this site. So the 2 that kind of pertain to this would be the 90-degree head-in parking, seen at the bottom, 10 by 18, and then the 90-degree head-in parking is 10 by 20. Here is the site plan for this project. This gives the did a great job illustrating kind of the different parking areas that they will have. So the main parking where this will impact is the new inventory parking along the western property line. Primarily, that's the reason for the variance, wanting to stack and store as many vehicles as possible on the site. So here are the board's powers again. Getting to the criteria, special conditions exist, similar to the first two cases. They do have the structures for the power, the tower, topography also is an issue with the applicant, as well as underground utilities. Whether the property may yield reasonable return without this variance, it can. It can be used as a car dealership with less cars or any other business. The applicant states that the vehicle storage and service space are 10 feet wide. There's not enough vehicle storage for normal business operations. Frequently used parking spaces, customer employees would remain at the 10 feet wide requirements in accordance with the zoning code. Whether the variance request is substantial or minimum necessary to make possible, the request is not necessarily substantial, but it is not minimally necessary to make use of the land. Property could still operate as a car dealership. The applicant states that the site has already been designed to maximize usable space given the topography constraints and still need to accommodate transmission tower on the southern part of the site. The zoning code allows for administrative waiver in certain aspects of development, such as number of parking spaces, but staff cannot waive the dimensions of parking spaces, and therefore it is requiring the variance. And typical, any other case, they would ask for a waiver, and in this case, we don't have that power as staff.
Did
Yeah.
they get a waiver for the number of parking spaces?
No, they actually are compliant with the number of spaces. Essential character. The essential character of the neighborhood would not be altered. The adjoining properties would not suffer detriment as a result of the variance because the Heritage Plaza, where Kroger is located, was permitted with 9 by 19 parking stalls, and would shorten the standards from the 10 by 18 standard and 10 by 20. So whether it's not going to affect any governmental service, any special conditions, or circumstances as a result of an owner. There are special conditions, the result of the owner's actions. Owner's creating a car dealership that will store a large inventory of new cars and used cars. The amount of inventory is up to the owner as a result of this decision. The applicant has stated that if all vehicle storage and service spaces are 10 feet wide, there would not be enough storage space for normal business operations. Predicament can feasibly be removed. Staff cannot determine if there's feasible alternatives at this time. Further review during the site plan would determine that, as there are other implications such as topography in that case. We have not done an in-depth review to actually authenticate if that is a true impact. I know that there is some topography stuff on the western side of the property, but how relevant it is, we won't know until the site plan review is underway. Again, this applicant has stated that the site has already been designed to maximize the usable space, and due to the transmission line, and the topography is why they're seeking this. With the spirit and intent, the variance meets the spirit and intent of the code. The applicant is not intending to alter any of the spaces used for customer and employee parking, and is focusing on only storage and display areas. That the intent of the code is to promote adequate maneuverability for customers and patrons visiting businesses throughout the city. And then special privilege, it may not confer special privilege based on the new and future developments within general commercial, but it would not give any special privilege compared to like the existing business and Heritage Plaza, Green Plaza, due to their parking stall size being under what our current requirements are. So their neighbors are a very similar dimension. None of the departments have any comment. There has been no public comment. And then approval, denial, modification is not required to be based on any of the criteria to be, based on all the above criteria to be met. No single factor listed above may control, and not all factors may be applicable in each case. And I can answer any questions that you may have. We'll go back to, this is probably the most beneficial.
Do you have the other slide that shows,
The stall size?
it shows all the parking spaces with the width? It was on the packet, I believe. You might be able to get
Wonder
it.
if it's I know that I don't believe that I have
That civil
that
drawing?
yeah, that part of the civil
Okay,
on
that's
there.
fine.
Just kind of the requirement, and then where they're proposing those spaces to be altered.
Okay. Does the zoning code has requirements in regards to parking spaces?
Say that again?
Like, what's the minimum that the zoning code requires?
The zoning code
Parking
requires?
spaces. Right.
So it would be these requirements. So based on single row parking,
Right,
would be the 10 by 18, and then double row would be the 10 by 20
okay.
kind of parking.
They
That
don't-
would be applicable for
Does
this.
it have quantities? Like if a building is so many square footage, you
Yeah,
have to
so
have one
it does-
parking per
it-
so many square footage kind of deal?
Yeah, so based on the use of it being an automotive dealership,
Yeah.
as well as the square footage of the building, impacts the number of lots or spots that they can have.
Okay,
And they're within the bounds of that. During the 2024 zoning code update, we went away from having just like a maximum
okay,
and kind of really restrictive parking to we have a much broader range where they can have a minimum and then a higher maximum. So it's just based on that. So anything within those two are permitted. And I believe that they are permitted within, especially with this one part of the site.
yeah, okay.
So this is just for like storage cars or the,
Yes.
I believe most of,
There on the left,
And the right. So the purple and the light blue. And the light purple. The light purple.
so you have you have like a lilac and purple.
Wherever you probably should. I think. Yeah. Yep. Yes, and then I believe,
And
yes.
that triple right there,
Right, yeah.
and the ones behind.
west, northeast, southeast.
questions for staff at the moment?
I'm
Do you know-
assuming since it's not mentioned, the stacking is permitted,
Yes.
the blue area, okay.
What was your question? I'm sorry.
If the stacking of the spaces was permitted.
Do you know how many spaces are there right now, total? That will be for them, I'll ask them.
33 is what's
140.
indicated on the chart. I think 33 and 4 ADA.
Hardly see it.
Sorry, it changed once they removed the north side of Ring Road, so I'm unaware of the exact new number. 328. Yeah. Yes,
Not just for the storage spots?
No.
It's employee parking, everything?
yes,
Everybody.
everything.
And if they had to stick with the 10-foot,
I- This applicant. So the applicant stated like around 100, plus or minus. Any more questions for staff? I'll turn it over to the
No, we're good.
applicant.
Thank you. Proponent,
800.
Afternoon.
state your name and
My name
address,
is
please.
Eric with Cronin Automotive.
Thank you, Eric.
Our goal is just the storage area and displays will be to 9 feet. And then the 10th of the code where there's customer parking and employee parking, the 10 feet to keep the doors opening and shutting without bumping into each other.
Is there any intent in the future to develop the front of the parcel, or is that just a big question mark at this
This
point?
is a big
point.
question mark.
I'm just trying to find out, I mentioned earlier about the difference between the parking if we go with the 10-foot or the 9-foot.
It was 100.
You said it was around 100, or you're still not so sure?
You got how many total now?
330.
Hey, Ben, do you mind just going up to the mic just to?
Yeah, apologize, man.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Name's Ben Poole, 8111 Cheviot Road. Yeah, I think it was around 330 plus or minus spaces total. Widening all of those to 10 feet is gonna make an impact of, I'd estimate at least 100 spaces across. the
100
property.
spaces.
Yeah.
Jamison, you said Kroger's 9 feet for customer parking?
Looking back at their approved plans, it was 9 feet wide in width.
And again, this is just for the display areas, everything else customer facing.
Will be needing the code. Good. Anybody has questions for? Yeah. Thank you. Good. Request a motion to accept the documents submitted for the record.
I'll do that motion.
Thanks, sir.
Second.
Casey. Motion carry. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Request a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move that we close public hearing.
Welcome.
Second.
Walter? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Try to download the site plan, but it's no cooperating.
I just want to make a statement that in the code, there is no maximum
There's no
parking.
maximum parking?
There is none. There's only a minimum required space, and that is one per 500 square feet of sales and service building.
Okay.
Of the building, not the lot, not the parcel, but of sales of the building.
Of the building, yes.
Building,
So
yeah.
it's sales and service square footage of that building. So it's a very large building, just divide that by 500, and that would be your minimum
Yeah.
that they would be allowed. But there is no maximum associated with that.
Okay, thank you.
They're just asking for what Kroger has already, right?
Yeah, it's probably more.
Will it be a little bit shorter than Kroger, right? Because Kroger was 9 by 19 and they were 9 by 18.
Yeah. There's 9 by 19, which is just extra space. It'll be 9. Yeah, we're discussing, we're good. Yes,
I mean, it's not open to general public parking.
correct.
I think we're talking about close to 200 spots. My math is right. 123 on the left, 42 on the north, and then 30 down the bottom.
That's the amount that's proposed.
Yeah, we're almost close to 200, just shy of it. That would be effective. Because they're stacked.
I'm just trying to find out to see what's the minimum requirements. And once they meet the requirements, then everything else will be extra space. And if it is like they mentioned 500 square foot per car, looks like they have 31,588 square feet for the building. That's what it looks like. I haven't counted the second floor, as you count the second floor. Do you know there was a
Is it
second?
just the footprint, or does the second floor count as additional sales space?
It's probably
It is
office.
just based on the footprint of it.
Footprint?
Yeah.
Okay, then we go with 31,000 then.
And so it's one space per 500 square feet of sales and service building in buildings.
Yeah.
And so on this, it would just be of the main building, which the sales and service is combined.
Yeah. It's for the size. Or the inventory part of it, mostly.
So this is the drawing with the 9 by 18.
Right. And this is the one, this is 9 by 18, all these are 9 by 18s. And I believe, in the top. This up here. Yeah. All this area right here as well. This and this. So all those three.
So the required parking meets the code. It's just the addition. Okay. Okay.
Yes. That's what I have to as well. Are we okay, I believe, for approval on this one? Who would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. We move it to,
Yes.
Yeah, we already did.
I'll make a motion. We recommend approval regarding case number BZA 2026-3, consideration of variance application for Cronin Ford regarding parking spaces.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Baxter,
Yes.
Mr. Adam,
Yes.
Mr. Walters,
Yes.
Mrs. Walton,
Yes.
and Mr. Mason.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to fourth case. Open the public hearing for case number BCA 2026-4, consideration of a variance application for Cronin Ford regarding the tree requirements. Please, those who are willing to testify, stand up to be sworn in. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Mr. Cole?
Please see the exhibits for this case. Cronin Ford has applied for the variance regarding street tree requirements. The applicant wishes to construct the proposed car dealership without having to install any street trees along all frontages. Here's the overall site, the zoning, looking east, looking south, and looking west. Here are requirements for street trees. The main one as part of this is the first, street trees shall be required along all public and private frontages, except interstate frontages, alleys, for all subdivisions, new sites and developments, and expansions of sites or developments. Their site, their parking, and their landscaping plan. So I added this on here. The red line is there to show what areas they are required to have street trees. Though they are not developing the northern part of the site, it is still part of this parcel. They have not split it. It meets anything of this evening is of the same on the front parcel. And this requirement is none different. So the requirements for street trees would be along the red boundaries with the private road of Ring Road and State Route 63, as well as the private road connecting to State Route 63. Going with any special conditions, again, the topography, transmission tower, underground utilities in this case. There are other sites around the city that have similar kind of issues, but and this site is not too dissimilar to them. If they can yield reasonable return without this requested variance, they may use it still as a car dealership or any other commercial business. The applicant has stated that modification to the site is to accommodate street trees would reduce parking counts, which are critical to the business operations. Staff would note The applicant stated it earlier on the cost being this prohibitive factor of developing the front lot. But if parking is an issue with putting in street trees, they could develop that front parcel to add the missing parking spaces that they are stating. If the variance is substantial, or minimum necessary, the variance requested is substantial as it sets a precedent for all commercial franchise development within the city by waiving this requirement. This requirement is not minimum necessary to make use of the land and structure. The applicant has stated there is no viable location for street trees due to utilities, sanitary, storm, sewer on the north side, really along Ring Road, water on the south side. Sidewalks would require on the north side of the road. Sidewalk is required on both sides of the road, as well as all frontages as well. Staff would note that although we understand utilities can cause some issues with street trees, these issues do not prevent them from being installed. There are plenty of cases, subdivisions being built in the city where street trees are required to be installed above utilities. I do this every day with new subdivisions. When trees are being planted, we do have some exceptions to where they can be planted. Driveways, with sight distance from driveways, locations to lights, locations to fire hydrants, some sump lines, especially in subdivisions. We try and water directly to the homes. We try and stay 5 feet away from them, but the street trees are still installed in those cases, unless it's physically impossible, and then there's a alternative location for them. Essential character, the essential character would be substantially altered, and the adjoining properties would suffer detriment as a result of the variance. All new and future development in any district in the city would be required to install street trees. In some cases, previously developed areas, non-conforming, in some cases, previously developed areas are non-conforming, but within roadway improvements and sidewalk installation, those will come into compliance, especially some older subdivisions. And property, like commercial properties, they may not have street trees, but with expansion, with redevelopment, they are then required to comply with the standard. The variances will not affect governmental services. Whether special conditions exist as a result of the owner, the requested variance is due to the owner's layout and overall site design of the proposed car dealership. The applicant has stated that the hardship is predominantly due to the site's conditions, topography, transmission towers, underground utilities. Whether the predicament can feasibly be removed through other methods, this predicament can be resolved by slightly altering the layout, developing the north side of the ring road, and additional parking as necessary. The applicant states that the site has already been designed to maximize usable space, and given topography constraints and the need to accommodate the tower on the southern side of the site, it's not possible. Spirit and intent behind the code, the request does not meet the spirit and intent of the code. The code requirement is to beautify the city streetscapes as part of the city's ambition to make our streets in the city more walkable and welcoming to our residents. The applicant believes the request is to make the site constructible and usable and to eliminate future issues with existing utilities and Duke easement or restraints. Staff does not believe that the street tree requirement is a determining factor on whether the site is constructible or usable as space allocated for street trees. Is it within the street lawn, which located within the right-of-way and houses only roadway, utilities, trees, and the sidewalk? whether granting this variance will give special privilege. Granting this variance would give the applicant special privilege over all other properties within the city, which are required street trees along all public and private frontages. The applicant has stated that the request to provide relief is a site-specific issue. There are no comments? No public comments? And then again, approval, denial, modification is not required to be based on all of the above criteria being met. A single factor listed above may control, and not all factors may be applicable in each case. If you guys have any questions, just let me know.
Yeah, I might have missed this, but is this a new code?
No. I believe that it was along, no, I think that it's been, I was thinking of another code. It has been the same in the previous code and this code.
Yeah,
That it's along
that changed.
public and private frontages. Yeah, we have a prohibited list of street trees. We don't allow like fruit-bearing trees and so on and so forth. I don't know if, I'm sure that the city does have, maybe with like Public Works, a preferred street tree, so that it's the maintenance and also the tree does not break any of the sidewalk, or it grows well within that that area. Because that is, again, a big thing, and the city has had a lot of trial and error with good street trees and the ones that tear up your sidewalk throughout your subdivision, so.
The definition of a street tree, is it so many feet from the edge of the street?
So it's located within the tree lawn of, typically that is located between back of curb and the closest point of the sidewalk.
Okay.
Yes.
Right away, just about in the right away,
Yep.
close to the right away.
So they have not shown a sidewalk in this version of it. Again, this site plan was altered as part of during this process. So there was a sidewalk on the north side of Ring Road. They were showing the connection that you see from the building out to Ring Road. There's a sidewalk there. It was a pedestrian crossing to cross to the north side. So once we go into site plan process, the sidewalk will be
It will be there.
a requirement as part of that code.
Both sides.
Technically, wherever the red line is, would be, if they split the property, it would be for their one specific.
Who
That's what the tree,
Yes.
split the partial? Who's responsible for the road?
So that is Major's family would be responsible for that.
So they plow that and everything?
Yes. The city is not
it's a private road.
purview to that. I will say that the city is meeting with them to discuss kind of future development of that and like maintenance of that road to ensure that with Cronin going in and any future development, that the road is maintained properly. Even if it's not the city maintaining it, to just get a understanding together.
Are you aware of any other properties in the city that are split with a roadway like that? That would be one parcel?
I'm trying to think. I cannot think of any properties unless you are thinking of like Kroger itself, which would be separated by McCready, which in front of the pet hospital along the north side of McCready, that kind of cuts in there, they were required to put sidewalk in and street trees. So they have that on the north side of Ring Road. Ring Road, sorry. Ring Road, McCready.
I've never noticed that. At Kroger?
So if you were to, I guess this is not any better actually, but it is a little hard to see. You can see that there is sidewalk. It connects to the building. It stops at their drive. It does not go any further east towards the pumps. But then on the south side of that McCready extension into the site, those are the parking islands. So there is no sidewalk along that side.
So why wasn't Kroger separated like this one is? That road from the store to the gas station?
I'm unsure of kind of the development at the time and the access. Kroger to that plaza has 4 entrance points, technically. It has off of State Route 63.
Well, do they even count that as Ring Road going through there?
I think.
So I think that's where it kind of goes from a
I didn't know.
private road from like McCready going into it, and that intersection starts Ring Road. So it is kind of tough to see where one starts and one ends along that kind of.
So McCready
Access road.
ends at Ring Road or Heritage Green?
I want to say that it ends at Ring Road, but I would have to double check that.
The lot with the detention on it, is it required to have street trees along Heritage Green
So
or 63?
if it were to develop right now, yes. I do not know if at the time that was developed, if it was required. I believe it was, and I believe it does have street trees
Okay.
along that side.
Okay.
And Heritage Green Drive, as it goes past Kroger's, also does have street trees on it.
Okay.
Yeah, just to clarify.
Everywhere the red lines are, there will be a sidewalk.
There should be, yes. I think that it was.
They're gonna put sidewalks along 63.
It was typically what happens with site plan review, and we refer to our transportation plan. We are in the process of making a transportation plan with our Safe Streets for All. And in that process, it's figuring out where these paths and sidewalks and trails are designated to go. Typically along 63, it's difficult. They've been waived in the past, especially around American Way, closer to the highway. Those sidewalks and everything have been waived along 63 just for safety concerns until the plan is confirmed, or like completed and adopted. And then we can start, we would then have a side of 63 that paths would be on decided, and instead of having them built on one side or the other and not know if that will continue down 63 from east to west.
So eventually, future-wise, they're probably in front, on the south side of the Ring Road, there wouldn't be any sidewalk, correct?
On the south side, they were not proposing
They were not
sidewalk
proposing a
on there.
sidewalk. So the sidewalk will go on the north side of the private drive,
Yes.
on the north side, eventually.
Yes, and the thought behind that was to connect to the sidewalk
for the pet hospital.
pet hospital. That does not mean that there can't be sidewalk on each side. I don't believe that that's what's up for question in this case.
No, it's not.
But I will say that in the other cases, where sidewalk has been, varied from along 63, the street tree requirement still exists, as part of that. It's, that gets into another thing of where ODOT stops, where the swale stops, where it's feasible to plant trees. It all comes into question, but even as recent as this past year, Take 5, which is built, has to install street trees along that. So,
What utilities are
the road, so they call it out, that, let me find it.
Landscape plan, I got here. Yeah, this is, that's just a drainage easement proposed.
So they state, the applicant states that the sanitary and storm sewer on the north side of the road and water on the south side. I do not have it, or. They're the only one with sidewalk, it kind of starts at their property and ends at their property. Technically, yes, per code. It's front, any frontage, but.
Any other questions for Mr. Cole? We're good? Opponents, please.
Eric with Cronin,
All right.
Harrison. Didn't really understand this one. We are all for the trees, and we could plant them somewhere else. We don't know what's gonna go on with this road.
Yeah.
And speaking with Jameson, Majors could bulldoze the whole, his side if he chose to. The road is not a required road to be in there permanently. He could make any decision just to do away with it. It's in slight disrepair right now. After listening to what we've heard, we may actually file another variance, but we'll continue on with the building because the sidewalk would go down to 63 to no man's land and connects to the pet hospital. Even the community next to Kroger has no sidewalks in it, and I don't know who's ever gonna walk on those sidewalks. But if there is a recommend, I said I don't know if there'll ever be a person walking on the sidewalks.
No, the sidewalk, you said the community next to.
Kroger, we just zoomed in and we didn't see any sidewalks. I know it's a separate discussion, but there's no sidewalks.
Neighborhood right next to.
Yeah, is there sidewalks back there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Both sides of the street.
Yes, and
I live there.
It's
They're
the,
all over the place.
it's the next neighborhood
it's in
over.
the next
Okay.
neighborhood over.
And people walk to Kroger all the time.
They walk to Kroger, okay. So the trees on there, and again, we don't know what we will do on the front lot to develop it, so it would have bulldozers on it. And if there's a recommendation by staff to plant the trees elsewhere until the decision was made, we would be open for that. As far as the front of the road, the animal hospital, the gas station, and the retention pond on that street do not have any trees on the front.
No,
Have you thought about separating the parcels?
parcels?
Only if we have to, based on not having to put in sidewalks and trees, we would separate the parcel into two separate parcels. It was all one. Understanding when we bought the property from the Majors Garvers was this would be one day be a public street, and it would have sidewalks on both sides, but I don't know if that's ever gonna come to fruition. And then we would have a sidewalk to nowhere.
Future-wise, do you see that use for the north parcel or north area?
I would like to,
You would like to? Okay.
but no guarantee. It would, as the community grows, yes.
Okay. Would that be more displays for cars and
Display
inventory and
parking.
so on and so forth?
Correct. It's very hard to put a building on that piece,
Yeah,
because we've had people approach us to buy the corner, and then we say we could sell it to you, but you could never put a building there
no,
because of the power tower.
You mentioned being, oh, sorry,
Go ahead.
being amenable to placing them elsewhere on the property. So is it just that front piece that you're asking for the variance, or is it the developed part as well?
I think the full parcel.
Be all around the
The variance is for all frontages.
all frontages, which in this case, we're talking about 4 of them.
Right, okay.
Okay.
I don't know, do we know the count of trees?
I don't know the exact count. It's a tree every 40 feet on center would be the requirement. So I'm not sure the exact length that it would be. I think with the placements of the access drives on the south side, it was going to be around 4 trees. So I'd assume on the north side of Ring Road, it would be 6, similar to State Route 63, because they're the same length. And then that access road would be somewhere around 4 to 5. So on each frontage, it would only be 4 to 5 or 4 to 6 trees, give or take, the length of the frontage.
Yes, and we'd be willing to work with staff if they had a different place to plant these.
So looking at Google, to the right of this picture, on the other side of the street, to the pet hospital, I'm seeing multiple trees.
Yeah, they have several trees in there.
Along the street there. Both sides of their sidewalk. I'm seeing them going up the drive behind the gas station as well. So, verify your comment before that they're not there.
On 63, there is not.
Not on 60.
Yes,
No,
correct.
63,
Not on 63,
they just bushes.
but on drives and sidewalks.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're okay going up the hill because we believe that road will never go anywhere. And planting trees there, it's just the front of 63 and the inside. And I mean, we're okay planting 4 trees on the backside on our property also. So I guess if I can speak freely, we're good to plant them coming up the hill to match the doctor's office and plant them in front of our building, and then just reserve until we develop that front lot to do the other 2 sides.
Which will be the front by 63 and coming on the,
And this picture on the right side.
on the right side, yes,
North side of Ring Road.
yeah. And this, on the 63, those 2.
So, you guys bought this property. You had the PUD in place
From May, yes.
for a major, which took care of the first item that we looked at.
First case.
But 3 more variances are needed. We're not looking at this before we bought it, or?
Every building we've built, we've had all these variances. It just depends on the parking. Actually, we probably didn't even look at the parking, and then, no, the base body cap should have been in the original agreement, because if you look back in the minutes, yeah. Yeah.
And then, as you notice in the packet, we are seeing development of that front lot in your packet that you presented.
Probably the original
It,
plan.
yeah, it had the original
Made an amendment.
site plan
Original site, yeah.
with it.
Shows. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any final comments? Mr. Cole?
Yeah, the site plan should have been the corrected one. That's
I wasn't looking at the site plan, I was looking at
the landscape plan.
Last.
go scroll through
The elevations.
the elevations.
He does show one though.
Oh. Yeah. Understood.
That bottom one. But everything else is updated.
Yeah.
But that was left over. Yes. So that's what threw me off.
Potentially, that could look like that. Similar.
Staff has no other comments. No other comments.
Okay, thank you. Motion to accept the documents for the record?
I'll make a motion to accept documents.
I'll second.
Seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Request a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
So Walter, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Cool. We're ready for discussion.
I'm struggling with, I realize it's one parcel, but the road kind of gives the appearance that it's two. So I'm struggling with having them box in an undeveloped lot with the trees, and then whether they develop or whether they sell it and somebody, then we're gonna make them take them back out because they're gonna have to have access somewhere, you know, depending on how the site's developed. I think the trees along what would be the south side of Ring Road, I think we should make them put those in. But I think the other part, I'm just struggling a little bit with, that we're gonna box in an undeveloped parcel.
That's a good point. Could you, Jameson, could you put that drawings with the red lines? That one, thank you.
My concern is that if they're not done now, they won't.
You mean on the other parcel?
Yes.
Well,
Well,
whoever
we could
buys it and
condition-
builds it won't have to do it.
When that's developed.
When it's developed, yeah.
So if we deny it and they separate the partials, all them red lines on the front ones go away from the front partial?
So, yeah, so I am
Frontage.
speaking brief understanding of this, and I'm not 100% on this. I'm not sure if at this time that they can necessarily split without creating something with Ring Road of a kind of highway easement or some sort, as a building needs to be developed with frontage. So if they were to create something like that to give frontage along Ring Road, that would give both parcels then frontage, allowing that to happen. If they were to do that, then yes, everything besides the southern red line would go away. And that would be their only requirement.
Is that northern part of the parcel buildable?
Yes, it's, I mean,
It could be subdivided and, because they were kind of indicating that because of the electric lines that nobody can build there.
so
There is room.
as seen on the property,
There is room, yeah.
I mean, the transmission lines would impact some kind of design, site design, so no building could be built underneath it. Not necessarily that any parking could not be built under it, as we see with this site plan. So to say that it can't be built on, I would say that it can be, if the right person or developer wanted to come develop it. It's, I think right now with splitting it, the nuance of how that's would be done properly, to make sure that both parcels at that time would be conforming with frontage, is the big kind of question mark with that. And I would have to refer back to the code on whether or not that is only public frontage or private frontage that they can develop on.
And I think we've had this in the past. Are we able to conditions.
Grant condition, yes.
Only,
So he said earlier, majors could take that road out at any time. So if they take that road out, do they own the road still, or?
So I believe that, and it would have to, I would refer to the applicant in whatever their land acquisition deal states on who is in charge of what portion of the road. It's the city's understanding that the applicant must improve their portion of Ring Road as part of the site plan process. Will be the city's stance on this. Again, staff plans on meeting with the majors to better understand how Ring Road and the situation is, because we obviously see in this case a lack of understanding on whose responsibility it is to maintain and develop and improve Ring Road. So that meeting will be had with them to better understand. But it's staff's understanding that they now have that portion of Ring Road, the applicant. Now, if that says something else in their agreement with the majors, I would refer back to that, if that makes sense.
Were to take the road out, where's their entrance gonna be? Right,
Stop right there.
but if they were to take that road out,
Oh, there's no. You have the other entrance on the bottom. I agree with Kathy, what she was saying. There's no need to put trees if they're gonna be taken out. But we could grant a variance with a condition that when it's developed, whether it's developed or split parcel, then the requirements will apply again.
I think they're worried more about the sidewalk,
About
ain't
the
they?
sidewalk, yeah, but
I mean,
that's,
that's $100
that's-
grand versus,
that's different. We're not doing sidewalks today, so that's a good thing. We're just doing trees. But the trees on this side, on the south side of the private road, yes, they should comply with those. She said that's the area that's been developed.
Just waiving it for the north side.
All around the property. The north side part, all that parcel. Yes. Well, with those roads, I'm thinking, I see the utilities being in there. Yeah. Correct. That's 63, yeah. I mean, if the thing is that, when they're ready to develop, then they could do it, because we don't know what's gonna happen there. It might be off the right of way or might be on the right of way.
it'll, like it's set
It
for
will set
hundreds of years.
Until somebody develops. Yeah. No, no. Yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna be right above it. Looking.
Were they aware of the sidewalks? On the front part, the north part?
That's something that we have not gotten into great detail with, because it has not gone to a site plan. So the review has not officially begun with regards to that. I am guaranteeing that a discussion will occur between staff and the applicant regarding those sidewalks and what that requirement says.
Should be. I'm trying to write something here. Force. Mill or split. So I'm thinking trees on the south side in front of the establishment, and perhaps agree with Danielle and do them in the private roads right in front of the, on the east side of that area.
So what I wrote is, we approve with the condition that street trees are installed on the south side of Ring Road, which is in front of the building,
Right.
and the west side of Ring Road, which is over here.
Yeah,
The road from 63, and future trees are installed as required if the north lot is developed.
okay. Or a split.
Or split.
That sounds better.
Well, it's split, it's developed, we want it gets developed.
Yeah, exactly. When, if it gets split, it gets developed, then it gets the.
Correct.
No, correct, yes. The thing is that when, if it splits, then the requirement will be for whoever develops it. Right,
Yeah, I think if you just split, then it's gonna have to, as soon as it's split, they're gonna be required, so
They'll be required,
developed
yes.
is the, yeah.
all right.
I move to recommend approval regarding case BZA 2026-4, consideration of variance and application of Crown Ford regarding street tree width, with the condition that street trees are installed along the south side of Ring Road and the west side of Ring Road, coming from 63, and future trees are installed as required if the north lot is developed.
I second.
Clarify where the west side of Ring Road is that you're talking about? I don't think that's covered here.
Yeah, that will be the. So that one is Ring Road, and then that will be the west and the east,
So the west here,
and they're there, on the south of that one. Okay. Good. Got a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Yep. Mr. Mason,
yes.
Mrs. Walton,
Yes.
Mr. Adam,
Yes.
hold on, Mr. Walters,
Yes.
Mrs. Baxter. Thank you.
Motion carries. Make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
You made the motion?
Yes.
All right, I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carry. Meeting is over. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen.
We should have made a condition that you two had to talk.